Good afternoon, happy Monday, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 14. It is time to Monday meal prep. So I spent a bunch of time yesterday meal planning, going through my cupboards in my fridge, seeing what I had left over from the previous week's meal prep, and then I went grocery shopping in preparation for today. So I have decided this week that I was in the mood for like soup and sandwiches. I already have some chickpea of the sea sandwich filling made up. So what I'm actually going to meal prep today is 2 different kinds of soup, as well as a garlic hummus spread that I can have on bread with the soup. I'm also going to marinate some mushrooms. I like to set up a plate with mashed potatoes, a green vegetable, and these marinated mushrooms. I think it makes a really good meal. And finally, I'm going to make a cheesy taco hash brown casserole to use up the potato cheese that I made last week, as well as some quinoa taco mix that I unthawed over the weekend, and figure a cheesy taco hash brown casserole. Doesn't that sound good? I feel like that could be a meal any time of day. So my first soup I'm going to make in my Instant Pot. And this is my first time really making soup in my Instant Pot. I tried one other time to cook some soup mix. It was this Bob's Red Mill veggie soup mix, and I don't even know what I was thinking. This soup mix is comprised of lentils, peas, barley, and alphabet pasta. I put it in my Instant Pot and pressure cooked it on the dry bean setting. Naturally, it turned out like baby food. It was very unappetizing. So today I actually read the instructions on the soup mix, and all you do is simmer it for 1 hour. Like, seriously, what was I thinking? So I'm going to use this soup mix along with some spaghetti sauce. These peas and the potato cheese are all I have left over from the meal prep last week, so I figured these peas would go good in this soup. And then probably about a cup of diced up onion, which I obviously still need to dice. I've already diced up potatoes and carrots, so my plan is to pressure cook the potatoes and carrots. I actually did an entire 5-pound bag of potatoes, and it's about a half a bag of baby cut carrots. So I'm going to pressure cook those in the Instant Pot first, and then I'm going to take out probably about half or more of the potatoes. We'll see how easy it is to scoop them out once I pressure cook them. But I want to turn those potatoes into mashed potatoes. So then I'll leave the rest of the carrots and potatoes right in the Instant Pot, and then I'll add my tomato sauce, peas, onion, and the soup mix. And then I'll actually follow the instructions and just simmer that stuff for an hour in the Instant Pot. Essentially, I want this to be like a thick, hearty, potato, tomato, like filling vegetable soup. Something that I can eat on its own, or put on top of mashed potatoes, or have with a slice of bread. This is basically the recipe I use when I make my stepdad's super simple soup, except that I didn't have yellow Yukon Gold potatoes, I just had russets. So the first thing I want to do is get my Instant Pot going and pressure cooking. Now hopefully I can get this cheesy taco hash brown casserole mixed up before the Instant Pot starts getting too loud over here. First I'm going to use the bottom of this bag of shredded hash browns. And then I'm going to mix in some of these southern style hash browns. I have these 2 containers of potato cheese left over from last week. This makes me think potato cheese could be made into one of those fun cheese balls that people take around to Christmas parties. Then I'm going to add my quinoa taco mix. Gonna mix this all together. All right, I am pretty happy with this. So now this is going to go in the oven for about 40 minutes at 375. And it's good timing because I think my Instapot is about to start making some noise. So now I'm gonna go chop some vegetables and I'll be back when it's time to put together my minestrone soup. So I just got done chopping my vegetables. It literally took me like 15 minutes. So the minestrone stuff is ready to get started, but the Instant Pot is done pressure cooking. So I wanna check on the potatoes and carrots in here. Oh, still had some pressure in there. Oh, those are beautiful. Now I'm gonna attempt to scoop out some potato chunks to make mashed potatoes. Here's what's left in the Instant Pot. And there's the two I took out to make mashed potatoes. I'm not gonna drain the water that's in here in the potatoes and carrots, like whatever. I'm just gonna start adding the rest of my stuff and then I'm gonna set this to simmer. This is pasta sauce I had left over from meal prep last week. And more sauce. The onions I chopped, that made me cry, by the way. The peas that were left over from last week. And then I wasn't planning on doing yellow squash in here. I was gonna do it all in the minestrone, but I ended up with quite a bit of it. So I think I'm gonna put a handful of it in here, a couple handfuls of it in the minestrone, and then I think I'll save the rest to like saute up with some onion. I'm not sure how much of this. I'm gonna start with a cup, mix it up and see what it looks like. I want it a little bit juicier, so I actually found these V8s in my fridge that are a few months expired. So I think I'm gonna put one of these in here. And then I'm also gonna rinse out the pasta sauce jars I just used to get a little more water and juice in there. Okay, now I am super happy. This looks really good. Exactly how I envisioned it. So now I'm gonna set my Instant Pot to simmer for an hour. So I thought one of these buttons over here said simmer, and I was wrong. Slow cook? Or should I just keep it on keep warm? I do not want to overcook those lentils again. I think I'll put it on keep warm for 30 minutes. And then I'll check it. And my timer just beeped for the cheesy taco hash brown casserole. This looks and smells even better than in my regular cheesy hash brown casserole. I've made it with a little bit of quinoa. This is the most of my quinoa taco stuff I've ever put in it, but oh, Smells amazing. So I've got everything ready to start the minestrone, so let's go ahead and get onions and celery going in some veggie broth. Quick change of plan. While my oven's still hot, I'm gonna heat up some tortilla chips to have a snack of some of the pinto beans that I made last week that I'm trying to finish off. I'm getting this really weird lighting because it's like 3:15 in the afternoon when the sun comes right in my window in my kitchen. So I'm gonna have a little snack, a little break time, and then I will come back when the sun is a little further away to get the minestrone going. I may be suffering from a case of the Mondays. I went to go have my snack, take a little break, and remembered, oh, I was in the middle of finishing Vlogmas Day 13 that needs to go up like 2 hours ago. I had it almost done and ready to go and was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my meal prep and get things pressure cooking, and then I just came in here and dove into the meal prep without finishing Day 13. Happy Vlogmas. I would also like to apologize to anybody that actually knows what they're doing with their Instant Pot, because you probably watch my videos and just like shake your head at me and scream at the screen, and I know how to use Google. Like, I should probably Google these things instead of just winging it all the time. So, soup update, I did the keep warm setting for 30 minutes. That didn't do anything to the soup. And then I tried a little bite of the soup with a couple, I don't know if they were dried peas or dried lentils, but I don't recommend that. They don't taste good when they're not cooked. So then I decided, whatever, let's wing it. Let's pressure cook it just for 10 minutes. That should be like a low enough amount of time that it will be fine. I'm not sure exactly how many of the 10 minutes it gone through. I was still out in my living room when I heard the thing beep. I thought the beep sounded a little funny, like even Penny turned her head and like looked toward the kitchen. It's because the burn notice was going off on the Instant Pot. The good news is I think it is cooked now, but let me try a pea and a lentil before I go bragging. Okay, I think I got a pea, a lentil, and a piece of barley. It's so close to done. I am gonna risk it all, do the pressure cook again for just 5 minutes. Oh, you know what? I did 15 last time, I remember now that I'm doing it again. I'm just gonna do 5 minutes. I could do the soup setting in the pressure cook option. That's what Google's suggestion is, but we're just gonna try the 5 minutes and see what happens. I think it should be done cooking at the end of 5 minutes. Okay, let's get the onion and celery finally going for the minestrone. My original goal was to have this meal prep done by like 3 o'clock, so maybe I could go take a little walk through my neighborhood since it was like almost 50 degrees today. Now I think we're just hoping to be done by dark, within an hour or so. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get some veggie broth going and get these onion and celery cooking in the veggie broth in this pan. I did look at a minestrone soup recipe and it suggested Great Northern beans, and I had a random can of these that I bought on accident when I was trying to buy cannellini beans. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use these in my soup and save those butter beans that I showed yesterday in the meal planning. When I bought those butter beans, I had just had them like from like a Whole Foods type of store in like a bean salad, and they were really good. So I think I'm gonna save the butter beans for something like that. We'll use the Great Northern beans today, along with a can of chopped kale and 2 cans of diced tomatoes with basil, garlic, and oregano. So as soon as I get this celery and onion cooked, then I will add some of my yellow squash. Gonna get some water on to boil my pasta. I'm going to turn the big pan down. I ended up deciding to put this pasta in the minestrone. You can see I have like only that much of the box left, but it's these multicolored bow ties. I really like these bow ties. Farfalle. Don't know if that's how you say that. Now I'm going to start adding all my canned ingredients to this big pan, and then once the pasta's done cooking, I should be able to add that to the soup if it's ready. We'll see. Update time. I heated this all the way to a boil. I think everything looks good in here. The only real change I made was I only added about half the kale. When I dumped the whole can of kale in, it just looked like way too much. So the only thing I have left to add is the pasta. I must say I'm pretty happy with this result. I'm gonna leave this simmering. I need to still try a little bite of everything, make sure the zucchini is cooked and stuff. So I'm gonna leave this on a low heat for now. I had set this one up to pressure cook for another 5 minutes. So then I just turned it to keep warm. So let's check on this one. Okay, I think this one's gonna be good. I think this one looks cooked now. It looks too hot to try though. I think it looks too hot to sample at the moment. So I'm gonna turn this off of the keep warm and let this cool down. I need to take another break to do some dishes, so I have some storage containers to put some of these things away. I still need to get my mushrooms marinating, and I guess I need to decide if I still feel like making hummus. So, BRB. Update time. We are gonna marinate the mushrooms and calling it good on this meal prep. It is now 5:15 o'clock. The sun is setting and I'm ready to be done for the day. First, let's talk about these mushrooms. I have never bought in these. I have seen them in a lot of recipes. I think vegan scallops, they usually make them with these. So these are really thinly sliced. So I feel like these are gonna be really good marinated and then cooked up in a pan with a little veggie broth. So I'm gonna marinate these the same way I do like my carrot dogs, carrot bacon. I do this a lot with portobellas. Oh, but I'm gonna save some time by just marinating them right in the jar. I dumped out the water that was in here, and now I'm gonna mix my marinade up and shake it up in here. Garlic powder. Might have been too much. Soy sauce. Liquid smoke. And I don't know if I can get out these last couple drops. All right, that's all I needed. That's all I needed was a couple drops. I like a little maple syrup or sometimes brown sugar. I like it a little sweet. And then I'll add water till it's full. Ooh. That should be good. And then just give it a little shake. Looks like they're all covered. Maybe I could do a teeny bit more water. And I usually like to marinate these for a day or two or longer before I cook them. I set aside some of each soup so they could cool a little bit and I could sample. Mmm. 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 Okay, now I need to change my clothes. Ah! And because of how I was sitting, I was talented enough to get it on my sweatshirt and my leggings. We'll just set this one on the table. Honestly, I like them both a lot. I'm not sure I can pick a favorite. I love this kind of soup. This is what I make a lot. I like this on top of mashed potatoes or rice or just with some bread. And this one's really good too. I've never tried to make minestrone soup before, but I think that's what it tastes like. So yeah, I'm very happy with both of my soups. And I'm very excited to sample this, my cheesy taco hash brown casserole. I've done it before with the quinoa mix in it, but never this much quinoa mix. This really looks like taco cheesy hash brown casserole. I feel like something like this would be a good thing to take to the family Christmas morning as well. But maybe in like mini muffin cups or something. And then I have the extra yellow squash that I'm just gonna stir fry up with some onion or something. I have my potato cubes that can either be made into mashed potatoes, or these make good potatoes in the oven, like French fry kind of type of potatoes. So that might happen for breakfast or something as well. And I ended up deciding not to make the hummus today because I actually ended up trying this bread last night and it was so dang good. I ate 2 pieces of it without anything on it. I really like sourdough bread. And if you watched my meal planning video from yesterday, I have a big tub of chickpea of the sea still in my fridge that I would like to eat up in 3 or 4 days before it gets too old. So I figure chickpea of the sea sandwiches with some soup, that sounds like a good meal. And maybe after my chickpea is gone, I'll want to make some garlic hummus to go with this to have like garlic bread. But for now, chickpea sandwiches are fine, or like I said, this bread on its own is really good, so I could even just have a couple pieces of that with my soup. I laugh at myself now, thinking I was going to accomplish so much this afternoon, and I was gonna straighten my hair and blah, blah, blah. Like, you silly girl. So I'll go ahead and wrap up this video here. I definitely have more dishes to do, more food to put away, and of course my favorite felines to feed, so thank you for stopping by my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to come back tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 15. Be well. From the meal prep mixed up for the instant part. They're my second soup. Woo! That was warm from last week. Say that without spit bubbles. Did that make sense? Oh, that's what it was. Now I need to do some, I can cut that. Oh my gosh, I just stepped on something. What? Soup. And this will